Hey, Utah Mammoth fans, tuss up and welcome back to Utah Mammoth Daily. So camp is deep in the grind now, and we've got plenty to cover. We'll start with Andre Turigny's message about where the team is in its maturation. Then we're going to look at Jack McBain's return and some roster housekeeping. Spotlight J.J. Peterka's off-ice impact, and finish with the bigger picture, the standard this team is setting as it moves into year two. Let's dive in. So head coach Andre Turigny summed it up this week in an interview with KSL Sports, saying that he's happy with where the Mammoth are, but he's not satisfied. That sounds like coach speak, but it says a lot about the growth of this group. Turigny says he sees more confidence, more structure, more players asking smart questions, and the one that I keyed in on, taking ownership. That's not expansion team behavior, that's maturation, and it's not a team that's been moving around and they could blame it on the small crowd size or the crappy locker room, or they don't have the support of ownership, or they don't know what's going to happen the very next day. And it's not on the ice saying, oh, the puck wasn't where I needed it to be, or this teammate was out of position. It's them saying, no, I wasn't where I needed to be to make that play work. So that's very important, I think, especially when it comes to maturation. He's praised the roster's balance, too, so he gave flowers to GM Bill Armstrong. Veterans providing stability while younger guys push the pace. That's exactly what you want if you're trying to build not just a competitive team, but a culture that lasts. Turigny's message also signals where expectations are. Last year was about proving hockey could work in Utah. This year, he's telling his players that being good enough isn't enough anymore. He wants sharper execution, more consistent effort, and for his leaders to set the tone. So while he says he's happy with the camp so far, the key word is but. He's not satisfied. And for a team that's trying to climb from interesting story to real contender, that's the exact mindset they need. And they no longer have the excuse of we don't have the ownership backing. They are ignoring our fans. Stuff like that. They don't have those excuses anymore. So now it's on the players to show up and do what they're paid to do. And I think that's exactly what the players want as well. Day 15 of camp brought a big development. Jack McBain has returned to practice. He'd been out since September 21st, and while he admitted he's still trying to catch up on systems and timing, just having him back on the ice is a big deal. McBain is an important piece of Utah's depth down the middle. He's got size, two-way ability, and enough offense to slide anywhere from the second to third line, depending on the matchup for that night. Getting him back healthy strengthens the center group, which has been thin at times this camp, that I've detailed multiple times. There was also a bit of roster housekeeping at goalie. Jackson Stauber was placed on waivers for assignment to Tucson. That was expected, especially after the trade of Connor Ingram. The clear 1-2 punch between the pipes is going to be Veggie and Vanacek, and that's good to have stability there and know the pecking order of everything. So the bigger picture here is health, though. Camp has had its share of bumps and bruises. Kerfoot, O'Brien, Peterka, Cooley have all missed time. But as the season approaches, players are returning and the group is starting to stabilize and coalesce. That's exactly what you want heading into the final tune-ups before the real deal. Now let's step away from the ice for a moment and talk about new addition J.J. Peterka and what he's been doing outside of Utah for the game of hockey. He's spearheading the creation of a community ice rink near his family's hometown aimed at helping to grow the game for the next generation of German players. That says a lot about who he is. He's not just thinking about scoring goals here in Utah. He's thinking long-term about legacy and about giving back. That kind of perspective resonates in the locker room. Teammates notice when a guy isn't just about himself, and that helps establish credibility right away. It also ties into what Utah is trying to become. This isn't just about building an NHL roster. It's about building a culture and an identity in a brand new market. Having players like Peterka, who are invested in hockey as a whole and not just in their own specific story or careers, reinforces that vision. So while fans will be excited to see what Peterka does on the ice, myself included, whether it's alongside Keller, Cooley, or Gunther, or McBain, or Kerfoot, remember this. His impact is already being felt off the ice too, and that's part of why Utah made him a cornerstone addition, and another reason why it's just easy to root for this team. Finally, let's close with the bigger picture. The most important storyline heading into year two isn't a single preseason game or even the final cuts. It's the standard this team is setting for itself, and it's not even really about the final record of the preseason either. Externally, we've heard it all. The Athletic projects 90 points. Sportsnet says they're a bubble team. Deadspin calls them a surprise playoff pick and a dark horse. Different outlets, same core message. Utah has star power, but depth and consistency will decide if they make it. Internally, it's the same theme. Trigny says he's not satisfied. Players talk about measuring themselves against playoff caliber opponents, not just surviving preseason. Even when the effort has been good, the response is, we can be better. And I love to hear that as a fan. That's the shift. Last year was about proving Utah belonged in the NHL, that Utah is a hockey market. This year is about proving they can compete. The mindset is evolving from expansion novelty or moving novelty, whatever you want to call it, to genuine playoff pursuit. And that, more than any individual roster battle or preseason scoreline, might be the most important sign of growth for this team. That's going to do it for today's Utah Mammoth Daily. Coach Trigny is pushing for more. Boehner is back in the mix. JJ Peterka is making an impact off and on the ice. And the entire organization is raising the bar for itself heading into year 2. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Toss up.